Hello there, everybody. Just getting the last bits connected here. Oh, you're live. I can hear myself, and we are ready. Okay. Holy crap. I always think it can't get any stronger, and it gets frickin' 10 times stronger some days. Today is the day after the lunar eclipse, a full moon. We're in 1111 portal. We're in a whole bunch of just really intense solar flares, massive purging, massive overwhelm, just crushing our system. And if you're feeling off, if you're feeling sick, if you're feeling like something crazy is going on, it is. It's the process. It's the process of flushing out millennia of stories, dark intent, of confusion, of untruth. And then there's all these like overlays of darkness that have inverted the matrix and basically turned our own minds against us, turned our families against us in things like codependency and mistruth and lineage traumas and stuff that you don't even know what it is showing up. And we're being crushed. It's like some days I lay in bed and it's just like a freaking freight train is sitting on my chest. And it's happening and it's intense and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And we're being squeezed. And hello, Diane. Thank you. Good evening. We're being squeezed. And it's like we're squeezing, I don't know, a blister, a boil. I was going to say a pimple, but that sounds pretty bad. But all the stuff that no longer serves is being forced to the surface. And these energies are getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And there's so much that needs to be flushed out of the collective knowledge, the collective experience, the collective way of seeing things, etc. And the only way that this is being possible is to purge it. It's coming up. All the light that's coming into your body is saying, okay, I'm rejecting these principles that I've learned my whole life. I'm rejecting all these old stories about love, relationships, divorce, past parents and family should be all this stuff that's part of the inverted matrix. Just imagine it as caking you with mud and getting in your brain and getting in your thoughts and getting in your body and putting these like inversions and reversions of how you feel, of how happiness is felt, how love is experienced, how much light you actually have. And then there's these devices and other energetic things that have been placed inside you to shut you down, to hold you down, and to force you into cleaning up your experiences. So what we're going to find as we transit these energies is everything's going to bubble up that no longer aligns. And you're going to have stuff that shows up with family members, exes, children, lovers, parents, and it just feels like vomiting sometimes. It just feels like you want to explode. Sometimes you'll get triggered and get angry. And other times you just, like my nervous system feels like it's just being electrocuted sometimes. And I don't know what to do with it. And there's very little you can do with it other than just witness it, feel it to its extent, and just let it bubble off. And you're going to get bubbles throughout the day. And there's these waves that are coming in with it. There's energies, and we're being asked to embody more light in our system. And it's going in, and it just kind of tears us apart. You can feel it in your chest sometimes, in your muscles, in what's going on in your body. And it's either like fear or like wanting to run away, because these are sensations you never felt before. And all I can say is just breathe it. Accept it, allow it. Don't be afraid of it, because trust me, the more we hold on to what felt safe before, you're going to find out that that's a rotten tree stump. And the universe is just going to keep pushing you down the river, and your arms are going to ache, and you're going to be like, I don't know what to do, and I gotta do something. when really it just wanted you to let go. It wanted you to ride in the river. It wanted you to feel what it felt to trust the universe, to let go of those inverted things, let go of, I need a house, I need lots of money, I need wealth, I need a lover, I need whatever. What if I told you all those things were contaminated? They all had poison in them and you didn't know. And guess what? You couldn't have a better experience until you really let go of all your beliefs, your stories, your bad habits, all the stuff that trained you to say, oh, I need a codependent lover. I need to fill myself with somebody else's love before I can be loved or feel loved. When really you were bypassing actually learning to love yourself. And all throughout your childhood, and all these things came in and poked you and said, oh, you're not good enough, and blah, 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 because your parents didn't know any better. They were told the same thing. So they had to tell the same to you. And as long as you love them, then they feel loved. And then as long as they love you, you feel loved. And there's this codependence and bullshit that's going on. And all this stuff is just being smashed. Your family members will say things that make you feel uncomfortable or make you mad or whatever. And it's just like, imagine it's the waves. You're sitting on the beach when you should be really floating out there in the waves and going up and down and having fun, but you're getting smashed because you're holding on to the shore. So in my life, and it doesn't mean your life has to be that way, I'm being taught to let go of everything. And 3D family members, parents, etc., don't understand that. Oh, you don't have a good job. Oh, you don't have enough money. Oh, where's your house? Oh, where's your marriage? Where's your lover? Where's your whatever? And right now it's just like, I can't be any of those things. I do not want to have an experience over and over and over again of fear and of lack and these things. So now it's like training me. It's training me into like celibacy in my life, training me into accepting that a house isn't really important. You can have a dry roof over your head and warmth and other things without multi-$1,000 worth of monthly expenses and bills and utility things and that kind of stuff. And right now it's like, if I was trying to service all those things and keep busy by having a job and doing all these things, I wouldn't have time to be inside. I wouldn't be able to look and purge this stuff and purify myself. And people don't understand that. It's like, oh, what are you doing? You're not part of the system and you're not paying your taxes and you're not paying bills. And I can't even just think in those terms anymore. Like, to me, those things feel dirty and disgusting. It's like chasing, getting on a treadmill so that you can survive and all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm surviving. I've found other ways. I've trusted the universe. Money's showing up in very different ways, and it's okay. But I'm not struggling for it. I'm not prostituting myself with other people and making customers happy, and terms like the customer is always right and all this kind of stuff just like are like acid in the back of my throat now, because I don't believe that. It's like, if you're not respecting me, even though I'm being of service to you, I don't have to take your shit. I'm not going to be lesser than you because you made some money or whatever. No, we either equal, or why would we even bother? So each of these waves is just kind of washing us. And just think of it. It's just like whoosh, whoosh. Yes, I agree, Diane. I couldn't stand that, kissing ass. And people get off on that. And it's like, I got power. I'm the client and I'm going to fuck you around. And even I do really good work for people. And then they'd find ways to nitpick it afterwards. And then I'd feel like, oh, I had to reduce my rate or some stupid thing. And it was just always pleasing little children. I'm an adult now. I don't let little children talk to me like that anymore. And they get really respectful the minute you do not get triggered and do not fuck around. And you're like, hey, I don't agree with that. I had a really good conversation with my parents today. I went to visit them and we went through some stuff and a bunch of stuff that used to trigger me. I just calmly responded. But the game was underneath. It was just like, okay, this is what I'm frustrated about, or this is what I'm angry about. And instead of like, oh, I got to please and I got to make happy, it's like, no, we had this discussion last time. Why are we having this again? And why have we forgotten all the things that we agreed? And then it's just like, oh, okay, now we're moving back forward. And not once did I get triggered. Not once did I get my little child that I got to please. And I saw this progress. All these purges had forced me to release my codependency, release loving outside myself. It's like, frick, this guy is special. He's powerful. And I've done all the work to know that I'm worthy of love, and it's mine first. And then their love will come in a whole different way. It's not a codependent kind of love. It'll be like, oh, I respect him because he always follows his word and he's in integrity and he's following through and saying consistent stuff. And then everybody feels safe. The inner child of the people around you becomes safe because now you're a light, you're shining, you're showing them the way they want to be, but they couldn't until they felt safe enough. And then when they feel safe, you're purging, you're cleaning, your inner work, your change becomes an example for other people. It's like, oh, I don't have to whine or be emotional or cry or whatever to get attention anymore. Now it's like, yeah, your voice matters. What do you want? Okay, let's find a way that works within my boundaries and your boundaries to get that same thing instead of just like going over turtle. It's like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. I just got to be nice. Not anymore. That's people pleasing. That's lack of self-confidence, lack of self-worth. And it's all different now. So I'm going to tell you, anything that's hurting you right now, there's a reason for it. And there's a lesson underneath everything. If you walk around in this world in self-responsibility, everything's teaching me something or showing me something, it's going to get you out of victim. It's going to get your power back. And to be accountable about things like, oh, this hurts or whatever. But instead of going, fuck you, go away, I don't want to talk to you, you say, ooh, this is pretty intense. What's going on? How can we talk about this? How can we get through it? And then a new version of yourself comes out, a person that's courageous. And it's like, I'm not afraid of saying the truth. And I'm not going to do this dance around of not speaking about stuff and pretending that you might know what I'm thinking because I got some fricked up story in my head. And magic happens because now it's like, I'm getting to the real bottom of why this is. And that's what Ascension is starting to honor yourself, starting to ask for what you want, removing all the inverted matrix things, all the stuff that's in our head and the beliefs that make us turn turtle and we got to please everybody and we don't matter. And all of a sudden you do matter. And then when you can see it and then you start showing up in the people around you, you're the light. You're the person that's giving a path through this shit. We're the wayfinders. We're figuring it out clumsily and messily. And I'll tell you, not one bit of it feels graceful some days, but I had the courage to stand up. I was terrified when I went to go see my parents that we'd have some codependent thing go on and darkness would show up and then there'd be a big crash, but it didn't happen because I went inside and I said, what the hurt little parts are in there and why would that happen? And it was like, I don't need to be that little child anymore inside. I don't need to, at 51 years old, to have parents be parents in that same way. I want them to be friends. I want them to be people that walk along beside me and feel I'm at their same level. And that's the difference. So be prepared to surrender and let go. If it's hurting and it feels like everything is a struggle, then relax and breathe and see what's underneath. You're probably holding on to that dead tree stump on the shore. Oh, I need a house. Oh, I need my safety as my retirement savings or blah, blah, blah. There's 10 million different things that are going to come up and you're going to have to choose. Do you give them power? Do you give them fear? Do you give them tightness in your body? Oh, fuck, this doesn't feel good. Because it's coming up to show you what's underneath. It's not coming to destroy you. It's coming for you to surrender, to ease into it, to realize that there's a different perspective. And if you keep asking, okay, this hurts, God, what's the new perspective? What am I holding on to? What am I, whatever? If you be in that surrender and ask, you're going to get a feeling. You're going to go back to some life trauma thing. You're going to go back to something from your past or a story or something you've been taught. And then you're going to be asked, is that true? And 9 times out of 10, if you give it the possibility that that thing that you thought was law, rules, absolute universal truth is maybe wrong, you're going to find out that it was. Because I'm going to tell you right now, 80 to 90% of the stuff that we've been taught, that we believe, etc., has been twisted. But we didn't know any better. There was no information. Our parents didn't know enough to teach it to us, but you're going to feel it in your body and you're going to say, okay, fuck, I've been holding on to relationship. I've been holding on to attachment. I've been holding on to money. I've been holding on to my house. I've been holding on to my family. And you're going to have to let some of those things go, because if you're dependent on them, you're attached to them, you can't be happy without them, you're never going to find yourself. And we really, 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 really need to find ourselves, because we're very lost, and there's nothing wrong with it. Almost everybody is. But the people that are willing to surrender, let go, to see what new is possible are the ones that are going to flow into source and beautiful flow and the new reality that's coming in. And that new reality doesn't have all this codependency and this forced love and all the stuff that's tearing at you right now. So my best advice, and it was hard to find this, and I'm only finding it now, is to relax and surrender and just keep asking, what's underneath this? Why do I feel bad? Who's tied into this? Why am I tied into this? Why does it have to be that way? And a new answer is going to come. And if you're soft about it and just be gentle and hold your inner child, and he's just like terrified, but this new truth says, I don't have to give up myself. I don't have to give up my energy. I don't have to whatever to feel love. And then I take my power back and it's like, oh, I feel love. Wow. And then it's mine. And I fill my cup and I'm 100% from my own filled energy. And then when I go out into the world, I set nice, beautiful boundaries with people. I communicate clearly, and all of a sudden the world's a different place. It's not like, oh, they're always attacking me. Oh, they're always hurting me. Or there's somebody taking from me. Now all of a sudden it's like, I got to choose. I just didn't know I ever had the choice. And now you're going through this, and you're going to find out you got the choice. You're going to find out that you're an infinite creator and you got all this potential, and possibility is massive. But it was taken from you. You did not know any better, and there's nothing wrong with it. I didn't know any better. What the frick? Why is the world doing this to us? They were sucking us dry. They were milking us of energy. We were like Energizer batteries to darkness, and they got off on seeing us fail. But now you're going to be successful. Let yourself go into the middle of that river and just float. And instead of fighting and trying to get against the current so you don't lose direction, you're actually holding on to the old reality. You're holding on to the old shoreline that you didn't want to see anymore, that's full of rotten tree stumps, when you really should be just flowing, pointing your toes down the river and looking and saying, trees, I'm going to go sit on that for a second. But don't get stuck anywhere. Don't get stuck. This is the best I've ever received, because this is like this much of the best you could possibly receive. It's been, that valve has been turned off completely on all of us. So I mentioned, how do we survive this process? We don't survive it. We don't struggle through it. We open to it. We smash ourselves open. We let our heart just go wide and allow new possibilities come in. Start letting go of the old stories. Start letting go of the things that are hurting. And it's like tearing at you, and people that are tearing at you. And it's like, maybe you need to be out of my life for a while. Maybe I'm not going to talk like this anymore. Maybe I'm not going to turn over turtle, and maybe I got to quit my job. Maybe I got to whatever. But there's things that are destroying you every day. And you've been taught that you need them to survive, or else you're going to die, or whatever. And you're going to have to question all those things. Is this my passion? Maybe there's a job for you that can be your passion, and it has nothing to do with being subservient to a boss or people. The exact right things that you need to clean up, to repolish you, to make you change, are happening to you right now. And if you see it as a curse and things are getting worse and all this kind of stuff, you're not seeing it from the right perspective. Stand back, look at it. There's a deeper truth. There's something that's going on. My sister was complaining about her ex and the money of them selling their home and all this kind of stuff. And he hasn't signed some of the paperwork yet and all this kind of stuff. And now he needs money all of a sudden to buy his new place. Perfect opportunity to leverage to get that paperwork signed. But instead it was like, it's awful. Now I'm at more risk, all this kind of stuff. Guess what? all that energy is just going to keep coming in and you're going to get more and more of it. But if you're like, holy cow, there's a blessing underneath. Holy cow, now I got all the paperwork signed. This is going to make my life so much easier afterwards. There's always two perspectives. Start finding the positive perspective and you're going to love it. So it's uncomfortable because you're tearing every bit of your safety down. It's tearing every bit of who you are down, how you define yourself, what your success is, because none of those things really matter in the world that's to come. What really matters is how integral you are. Do you follow your truth? Do you communicate well? Do you have boundaries for yourself? And these were all trained out of you. And now you're being forced to find them again. And it's beautiful when you get through it. And like I was saying, I saw progress with my parents and other things that I would have thought negative before. All of a sudden we're like, now let's get this clarified. And I can speak with it calmly and with love. And it was beautiful. And there wasn't one bit of struggle. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to hide from them and you want to pretend they're not there, it's going to get harder. It's going to get deeper. The energies are going to get more intense. And eventually they'll be torn out of your hands, or you'll be made sick, or you'll be in the hospital or get a flu, until you surrender and you spend some time and look at what's going on. Because it's happening for you, not to you. And that's ascension. And if it's coming up right now, it's probably not serving you and you need to look underneath. And there's a new choice and a new perspective and new possibilities. And once you get clear on those, your magic is going to start. Your lovers are going to come. The abundance is going to come back. But if it could only come through one path before and you only could see it like this with blinders on, that's why you're getting thrashed against the rocks right now. But the minute you're like, oh, I'm thrashed against the rocks, but my feet were on the ground the whole time and I just had to stand up and there was no problem here. But when the blinders are on and the fear is on and your whole body's like this, you don't even feel what's going on. It's like, holy shit, okay, this is a puddle. It was only a foot deep. No wonder my chest was getting all chafed and all this kind of stuff. You stand up and it's like, okay, I'm going to go get back in the river because I didn't know any better. I was off on the side and the side eddy carried me away and nothing was happening. I was in the stagnant water. Now I'm going to go jump in where the middle of the flow is, start fresh again. Now keeping my eyes wide open, taking the blinders off, taking all those things that were desensitizing me and letting them go, letting them purge off me, be torn off. And then there's less friction against the water. Maybe you're completely naked now. And it's just like, oh, now I'm getting a massage from the water sitting in the flow instead of the tearing at me because my clothing was bulky and it was filling up with water and it was making me drown. Now all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is fun. I'm in the wave pool and it's beautiful. That's how simple a tiny, tiny little perspective change can change your life completely. So it's intense. It's scary. It's whatever people want to say, or you can say, this is beautiful. This is powerful. It's loving. It's exhilarating. Instead of using fear words, use words that are expansive words. This is improving me. This is showing me a new way, a new perspective. And trust me, ascension is not going to be scary anymore. It's going to be like riding down snowboarding or something at high speed and you're going over some moguls and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, holy shit, I love catching air. And I'm warm, even though I'm completely naked on this hill. Who gives a shit? It's your hill. It's your reality. And if you're warm and you can think warm thoughts and all this kind of stuff and you never fall in the snow, wow, maybe that's a new sport. I don't know. But that's how simple it is. Let go of the things that you thought kept you safe, because I'm telling you right now, they're actually anchors around your neck. And the world, the universe, God, all these intense energies are going to force you to figure that out. And you'll figure it out one way or the other. But how dashed on the rocks, how hard and intense and fucked up do you want it to be? It's all your choice. So this is my inner perspective. You don't have to agree with it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I've been getting thrashed against the rocks and uncomfortable and sad and hurt. And I've got to the point where almost everything is gone now. And I'm okay with that. I'm safe. I have been able to adapt and I'm preparing myself to dive into a new reality, freeing myself of all the earthly stuff, the belongings, the house, all these kind of things that would just distract me. And as soon as these energies come, I'm going to go and jump in and go live life to the fullest and show the way wherever I can and make magic. What are you going to do? What do you want out of Ascension? And it's not a job, and it's not getting rich and a whole bunch of other stuff. What's the stuff that'll touch your heart and ignite your inner child and start your fire, get you going, get your juices flowing? Ask yourself that. Because it's not chasing this shit in this earthly world, because this is mangled. And you're going to have to be prepared to let go of some of those status things and jobs and houses and all these other things to maybe make the transit. Be okay with that. And then you trust God, and you trust the higher power, and you trust everything. I've had to do that, and I'm okay. You can think of that as, I lost my house 2.5 months ago. Money's been getting tight, all these kind of things. I should be terrified. I should be just grinding or whatever, but somehow there's always something there catching, and I love it. So maybe you just need to trust a little bit too. Put your comments down below, and I thank all the beautiful people that have made comments. Diane, lots of beautiful comments. Sorry, I didn't catch all of them, but and I think there's a few other people I just can't scroll down there right now. But thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your love and support, and thank you for your beautiful soul and spirit and all the work you're doing. And it's intense. I honor you for it. I see you for it. It's needed. Thank God somebody is. Have a good one. I love you all. I'm blessed to know you all. Love you. Another family. Have a good day. Good night.